We are live. This is Austin coming at you here, January 2nd. Can you believe it? And I'm very excited about this interview. I'm very excited to have a special person who I had the opportunity to meet a couple years ago at an event, and we connected right away. Just, you know how you meet somebody, and regardless of their credentials and their background and all the things that they may have done, there's just like a connection there, just like a human to human connection. Well, that's what I felt with Dr. Grant immediately. And then as I learned more about him and I learned the depth, the work, the knowledge, and all, like his phone's always ringing too, because people are always trying to get a hold of him. But when I learned the background and the more I learn about him, I'm just so impressed. I'm just going to share a couple of things. But before I do that, Dr. Grant, I just want to give you an opportunity to say hello to everyone as they're joining us here. For this very
Hello, Austin. How are you? Happy New Year to you and to all of your viewers. And you are my dear co-author in 2 books. You remember that?
Yes, we've shared a lot of cool things together. And I was telling people that I had this vision at that time that you and I were going to do something special together. There was like a seed when I met you. But it just like anything. Sometimes things take time to germinate. Yes. And so I want to share just a little bit about your background, because I want people to understand what I know about you and what I'm learning about you, so I can really set this interview up. And then, yes, I said I'm going to expose myself, but you're safe. I'm not going to be sharing any body parts on this interview, so you're safe there. And then we're gonna really have some just organic conversations around health. And I'm really going to ask Dr. Grant some hard questions about this, because I think it's important. So let me just share that you're known as the caring doctor. You've earned that, and I would say not because it sounds like a cool moniker, but it's something that you've earned over years and years and years of working with 10,000 clients over the years. You've worked with so many people over the years. You've worked with Olympic athletes. You've worked with 11 Fortune 500 companies sharing this. You've actually worked in hospitals, and maybe we can get into this, where you've worked in hospitals and you helped patients reverse, and what's the medical term? Sclerosis or
atherosclerosis, clogged arteries. Yeah.
Yeah, clogged arteries, arteriosclerosis. You've actually reversed that process with your practices, your techniques, your processes, and it's really good health. But let's jump into this. And by the way, I'm going to share with you some very personal information on my health, because I'm an ultra marathon runner, right? You think I'm in great health shape, but we're going to pull the curtain back a little bit. But before we do, Dr. Grant, why don't we talk about right now, this time of year? Because what do people typically do this time of year?
Okay. Just as a disclaimer, Austin, I'm not a physician. I'm not an MD. I'm actually trained as integrative medical specialist. I specialize in integrative medicine, functional medicine, and lifestyle medicine. And everything we're going to be discussing here is not for medical prescription, and it is not approved by Health Canada or the FDA or the CDC, which I happen to work with those organizations for 10 years in the past. But none of the things that we talk about approved by this organization. And everything we're talking here only for educational purpose only. Just want to make sure that this is crystal clear from the beginning, so nobody would,
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad you said that, because we got to get that out of the way. But one of the things that really speaks volumes is results, and I think
results. That's what I've been doing, because we care, we serve, we educate. We do not medicate, obviously. We do not operate. We do not do any irradiate. We do not vaccinate. We recommend natural ways, natural methods to prevent disease, because I do believe personally that prevention is better than intervention, that self-care is better than crisis care. And I believe that if we all committed in the beginning of the year to not the New Year resolution, but all year resolution, as you said on your Facebook, toward health, toward a healthy immune system, then nothing here can go wrong, even though we're living in the middle of the pandemic crisis right now. So that is basically the motto, and which you see this, the website is there, academyofwellness.com. When people go to see all my bio. I'm not going to talk about my 3 doctors, 3 masters, 3 bachelors, and all of the stuff that I've done in the past 45.
I'll talk about that.
Years.
I'll talk about that.
But all I want to talk about is my family history. My mother passed away in her early 40s from heart disease, and no medication can save her, and no operation can save her. My father did the same thing, and I've never seen my grandparents, both of them, or my grandparents. I've never seen any one of them. So coming from genetics, which is really bad, I had to decide, you know, when I was 18 years young, when I lost my mom, what I'm going to do with my life here, you know? So I committed to wellness and health from very young age. And there is a science called epigenetics that actually express your genes, whether you have good genes or bad genes, it depending on your environment. And it depends on your diet and lifestyle to express your genes, either you turn them on or off. So here I am. I'm 70. I know I look 60. Thanks, Austin. But it's not how old you are chronologically, it's how old you are biologically from the inside, the real age, like seriously. And I'm happy to see some people here and saying Happy New Year to us, which is great. I'm happy to see all of these people here. Happy New Year to all of you. And it doesn't matter how bad your genes are from parents to grandparents and grandparents. You can follow from January 2nd until December 31st of 2021. All of our recommendations here on the website. Epigenetics is the key. Exactly. It doesn't matter how bad is your genes. It has to depend on what you eat, what you do not eat, and what's eating you for stress. It depends on how you exercise, how you breathe. All of this under Wellness IQ at the academyofwellness.com. I'm happy to tell you that Austin Haynes has scored over 75% among my 10,000 clients in Canada and 10,000 clients in the US and overseas. The average score is 55% or lower. Now, Austin has exceeded that. He is a very healthy person. In fact, I listened to his the 9 days flash points myself, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you have never been to his flash points, ask him to send you the link. I highly, highly recommend it. Not just for the scenes, not for the wisdom that he shares in 10 minutes every day, but for the nuggets that you get to do every 10 minutes, every day 10 minutes. And it's all about total wellness, exactly as Mandy was saying, Mandy Robinson. Thank you, Mandy, for sharing that. I really appreciate that. So it's all about total wellness, total package. It's all about, it's PMS, physical, mental, and spiritual well-being.
PMS, let's say that again. Let's say that it's PMS.
Physical,
PMS.
mental, and spiritual well-being. Yes.
Total wellness. I love that. Physical, mental, and spiritual. And you know what? There's some synergy between us and we were talking about this because people are going to go into the new year with the same mode of operation or the same perspective that they have before. And they come from the perspective of, I want to hit my goals. I want to get healthy. I want to do this. And what I think both of us do is we want to say, what's behind the curtain though? What are the things that are happening that you don't know that are happening that tend to always pull you back? Whether it's health or and your psychological. So what I wanted to share with you is Dr. Grant's work, having a PhD, and he's very humble, and he's talking, here we are on him, and he's talking about me, but I really want to highlight that he's how many years have you studied, Dr. Grant? How many years?
About 27, 28 years.
20 or so. And here's what I want to point out. You come, this is why I appreciate your work so much, because you come from that academic, like you went through the academia, you're very versed and you're very credentialed in that world, but you also did self-education.
Yes.
Based on your history, you went out and you because your goal was not to just say, look at my academics. I have
no. I learn every day. Every day like you, I learn, and I will never stop learning until my last breath.
Yes, exactly. But the thing is, what I want to say is it's driven by your heart, and that you want to make this world healthy. You want people to experience a healthier lifestyle, and you're so driven, and you're constantly working. And we're going to be offering an assessment here today, but I want to, if you want, so let's do this. So the main point here is to say you have health goals, you have fitness goals that you want to do, and Umara's on us. She handles the fitness. Hopefully Umara can join us on here live, because she went through the assessment as well. I went through the assessment, And now I know Dr. Grant's saying that my health is great, but there was some things on here that I need to be aware of.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And if I got to tell you, Dr. Grant, I know we didn't talk much about this. This assessment that you did shifted me. It shifted me because you know what you measure improves. I started to say, what changes can I make? Like I just eat a whole thing of lima beans last night because I need to get more iron. It was established that I need more iron in my diet. Yes. And I needed to, I started doing this drink that you recommend with the turmeric, the ginger, the lemon, and a little bit of baking soda, but it depends on the exact person. But there's so much that you offer. So we're going to get into the assessment. So stay with us, and let me just grab some shares here before we get into the next segment. So Mandy saying yes, physical, mental. That's the PMS. Great acronym. I love your acronyms. There's more coming, by the way.
Yes.
We have the assessment. Mine would be horrific from what it was from. Yeah, but that's age is a factor, but it's not. It doesn't have to seal your fate, right?
Yes, correct.
So what we're going to do here, I'm just grabbing some shares. And if this is something that you want to do, you think you want to do the assessment, and we're going to get into it. So we're going to give you more details. Just type in the word wellness and we're going to tell you how this assessment works. So first of all, why don't we share how this assessment works? Because your history is you've actually done in-person body scans of people, correct?
Yes.
So why don't we share a little bit about that?
Lodi joined us here. She's one of our colleague. She's a nutritionist and she's a fitness guru. Omara, thank you for joining us. That's amazing. And she said the assessment was great and very detailed. Yes, Omara, you are also one of the healthy one that I've scanned.
Yeah, it's amazing how much. So why don't we share? Because Omara, if you can stay with us, would like to bring you on here at some point. But let me share my perception of what happened. And then we're gonna turn it over to you. So I basically, Dr. Grant said, here, take this test. I had to answer some personal questions about my lifestyle, my habits, and my exercise. So I did that. And then he got me online, and he's so efficient in this test, but it was literally a voice scan because you're in Canada.
Yes.
I'm in the United States. You can't do a physical, we can't do a body scan like you normally do. So I did some kind of a voice scan.
Yeah, virtual.
When I got the report, I'm thinking to myself, how in the world does this work? Is this magic? Is this like some kind of a special thing here? So how does this work? How can you take a voice sample and some information and turn it into, and we're going to go through the report here. So stay with us.
Okay. I used to do an in-person right here with me a scan with 4 different devices. In the past 3 months, I acquired this device called the AO mobile scan. And this device comes like this in a cell phone, and it has all of the feature that the other devices that I actually use with 95% correlated to the other device that I use and 95% accuracy to any blood test, MRI, CAT scan, PET scan, X-ray from any physician or any specialist in the world. So this device here, use frequency and using voice analysis to determine the exact situation of the body, like through the meridians, through our body meridians, which we have in our bodies. So every organ have a specific spin and frequency. So if we can detect this frequency, not only we can detect it, but we can also correct it through frequency. It's just like it's an amazing device. I've been using it now for the past 3 months. I've done almost like 200 scans, and everybody is telling me that exactly what they found is exactly on the blood test. I scanned one lady from
amazing
from Toronto yesterday, and it shows HSV1, herpes simplex virus 1, which is cold sores. She said, I don't have cold sores. She called me this morning. She said, guess what? I found cold sores. She was in the process of developing the immune system that produced the HSV1. You know what? When we show now Austin scan, which is very healthy, Austin is one of probably the top 5% of all my 10,000 clients in Canada and the 10,000 clients overseas. And he's 75+%. And I've seen clients with 50% on the wellness IQ. And then I've seen lots of red flag. In Austin case, we've seen more green flags than red flags. So it's going to show you now his bone scan when he is in the US. I'm in Toronto, Canada, and we did this virtually on Zoom. Okay, so if you happen to be anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter where you are, we're going to get the vitals report, which you see on the screen there. Now, I just want to point out on the right-hand side, there is actually the first scan that I've done for him, which you can see here, lots of red. The second one, I send him the optimizing the frequency, because what we do here is we optimize the frequency here. You can see this here. So there's detecting the frequency, and then we can optimize. You see here the frequency.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I optimize the frequency on the left-hand side, we see less red and more green, which is interesting. So this is what I did.
I want to correct. I just want to share this again, but I want to make sure people can see it. So I'm going to just make a correction here, and then I'm going to share my screen again so people can see it. You see that, Dr. Grant? Keep that up there for a second, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Here we go. Let me just remove myself. Put that up there again one more time.
Okay. So this is the device right here. Okay. And then you can see here, we do the voice analysis first, the inner voice right here. So we put the client's inner voice, and then we do after this, the vital scan. And then after this, the comprehensive scan. So for those of you who are not in this field, the inner voice is the voice print analysis to analyze your voice for any emotion, either suppressed or expressed. And then from this voice analysis, we've seen 4 different vials about the organs affected from the voice by analyzing the voice. Next is the vitals, which is like a CBC blood test. Like when you go to your physician for annual CBC blood test, that's what the vital report will show exactly. The comprehensive is like when going for MRI, PET scan, X-ray, CAT scan, things like that. It will give you 30 reports in 3 dimensions and every major organ in your body. So it will tell you exactly what's going on. So if we see something like a problem, we can detect it early by diet, exercise, by doing the proper, recommendations.
Well, okay, I want to stop you for a minute before we get into my report, because how is this even possible? Like, because I have an understanding of it, and I'm learning more about it, because Albert Einstein said everything is energy and frequency. Right?
Yes.
Everything is a frequency. We're learning this. This is not, so now going deeper, every organ can have a frequency, and every organ could be impacted by your emotions, a stored emotion or something.
Exactly.
But how is it possible? Because you said this is 95% accurate? Like if somebody does your scan and does a blood test, it's going to be 95% or more accurate.
That's right. And if something is going to be off, it's not going to be this device, because this is actually measure the meridians. But the blood test, by the way, which is known as the gold standard, is kept in doctor's office for 5 hours without dry ice. It's kept in the lab for 5 hours without dry ice. So the blood gets, the oxyhemoglobin becomes methemoglobin. The blood gets oxidized. So if there's some deviation, it's not going to be this device based on meridians, based on frequency, based on Albert Einstein AMC square, and based on Nikola Tesla work, and based on the Rife frequency from Dr. Royal Rife. This has been done a correlation from Russian when they study this device here for Russian astronauts. And it used to be a device that is like a desktop. And then now they convert this device into this cell phone kind of device. Absolutely, Mandy is correct. Every cell has a frequency. Every tissue has a frequency. Every organ has a frequency. And every system has a frequency. So what we're measuring here is basically frequency. That's what we're measuring here.
Yeah. So let me jump in here. So what would you say to somebody who's like, this is impossible? It's impossible. Dr. Grant, like, I know you got the credentials, but it's impossible. I don't believe it. How can you possibly take my voice print and tell me things about my heart, my kidney?
Okay. I tell them this: show me a recent MRI scan or X-ray or PET scan or MRI, whatever scan they've done in a hospital, and whatever blood test they've done within 30 days, because the blood changes. Our body is dynamic, not static. Our body changes almost like every minute, every hour. Yeah. So it have to be a recent blood test. So if they show me this, and then if we do the scan and it shows deviation, you don't have to pay for it. Okay. It's like 100% money back guarantee.
Okay, so let me stop you. Let me stop you.
Okay.
This is incredible. So
yes,
the assessment is 150. That's Canadian, by the way. So
yes.
it's 120 US.
Yeah, about 120 US. Yeah.
So I've been in gym memberships that were $150
yes.
a month, and I not knowing this information. So 120 US, you're going to get a full assessment.
Yes.
Of, and we're going to show you the assessment. We're going to show you one element of it.
Yes, virtually.
And
yes.
You're saying if that person does the assessment and they go out and get a blood test,
yeah,
and it's not within an acceptable deviation, because there is always going to be some deviation.
Yeah, 100%. It's my time.
So then you will. It's on your dime if that
on my dime.
Out right.
100%.
You know why I love this, because it also invites you to go out and get a blood test, and this is something that I need to do because I haven't had a blood test in a while.
Yes.
So I want to go get a blood test, and I want to see do these things connect.
Exactly.
So I really appreciate that. So if you're interested in the assessment, type in the word wellness, and we'll get to you with like what to do next before we get to the end of this. Type in the word wellness if you're like, I definitely want this assessment. I want to see what's going on. And I tell you, like I said, he just said that I'm in the top whatever percent. It shifted me. I started to make changes immediately. I'm like, I got to do some things just a little bit different, being aware. And I did. I made some changes. So,
you know what happened, Austin? If you repeat the wellness IQ again within 30 days, your score is not going to be 75%. It's going to be 90%. It's almost like my Olympic athletes have to be minimum 90% before they compete. Actually, I had one athlete that scores 80. I said, what's going on? He said, Doc, I just had one beer and one hard liquor on Friday. I said, you cannot have this on Friday, go on Monday and compete. Because this alcohol or any soft drinks would affect their performance. You understand? Because the athletes push their muscle to absolute maximum limit. If they get any lactic acid, if they get any problem with potassium that can cause hypokalemia, or magnesium, get leg cramps, for them it will be fatal. It will be actually heart attack. But for us, we can survive a little bit of deficiency magnesium, potassium, and so on.
Yeah.
But they could not understand why I tell them not to compete, because they have to be at the absolute maximum physical limitation of 90% on the wellness IQ. So if your listener and viewers like Mandy and like Omara, by the way, she had a very high wellness IQ.
Let me I'm going to bring her on too.
Yeah, if they score less than 60%, they should contact me, because what are they waiting for? Like if somebody under 50%, they're walking dead, basically. And I deal with people who've taken lots of meds, because I've been teaching in the Faculty of Pharmacy and Medicine. I've been researching allopathic medicine for many, many years. 250 papers published. I don't need to go about my bio, but go to Academy of Wellness and see my bio there. So I can help you to wean you off blood pressure medication, diabetes medication, pain medication.
Wow.
Why would somebody be taking narcotics to suppress and mask the symptoms for pain if we can have natural methods to prevent it naturally? Okay, that's the whole message here.
Yeah, so what we're going to do here, because and by the way, type in your comments. Listen, our health is the most important thing.
Yes.
Well, I mean, our spirituality, but even now that's connected. We like, I believe it's connected.
Yes.
Why not, instead of like, before you go invest in that gym, or maybe you did invest in the gym, invest in understanding the way, because we all operate a little bit differently. We all have little things we need to work on and tweak.
Yes.
And I think that's what, for most people, it's going to be making some minor tweaks. Once you get this assessment and you work with Dr. Grant, you're going to see how incredible this is. Yes. But what we're going to do, we're going to go through my report, because I think people want to go through that.
Yes.
We're just going to hit on
that. Austin, Della's here. Actually had the recording with her. It's on my website right now. She had interviewed me. Not only that, her coach, Robert J. Moore, has released 110 pounds in 6 months. Naturally, no diet pills, no starvation diet, and naturally he has released that, which is amazing. Actually, it's almost like a record. Okay. Okay. So here, Della's IQ was 67%. I told her, you need to come and see me. She said, I'm gonna wait for my mom to bring my mom and me to come and see you. I said, fine. You know what? As long as you improve your wellness IQ to 75%, and then people who have taken meds. Okay, if somebody taking meds to keep you alive, please do not stop medication. We're not here about any stopping meds here. We're keeping your meds, which I understand, and then we recommend some natural stuff to keep this in balance here. I'm not asking anybody to stop any medication, please, especially if taking blood thinners, because it could be fatal. Please do not do this, okay? So we're not recommending any stopping medication. We're not talking anything bad about drug companies or pharmaceuticals. No, they have a room to play. They have a place to play. Doctors, physicians have a room for emergency medicine. We all appreciate that. But when it comes to controlling blood pressure and taking medication for the rest of your life, I'm sorry, I disagree with that. So we help people within 3 months to reduce with their own physician their medication, depending on blood pressure, diabetes, pain, headaches, and all this stuff.
God, I love this so much. I really do, because it's so important. Oh my goodness. I feel your energy. I feel the need for people to understand. And to your point, we have labels, we have diagnosis to understand what's happening, but they don't have to be permanent. And Dr. Grant, how many people have you tested? Is it 10,000?
With this device, only about 200 or so. But with other devices, I would say about 15,000 people with the other biofeedback devices with this system.
So 15,000 people, but you used to use 4 devices to do, and that probably, who knows how long that took. And now you get the same results with this one device, and you've tested 200 people. And how are the results on those 200? They're within
it's almost like 96% compared to the physical device that I have, the biofeedback devices, and 95% to compared blood test, recent blood test. It was almost like 95%.
This is incredible. Type in the word wellness if you're interested in this assessment.
Yeah.
Dr. Grant, is it okay if we go back to my report and we can go through this a little bit? Okay. So let me share my screen here.
And we have to keep this private because this is actual test results for Austin. So keep this only.
Yeah, well, you know what? I wanted to do this because I wanted to, people know me as an ultra marathon runner. They see me, I seem to be doing all the right things, but listen, I'll be the first to tell you there's things I need to work on. And there's genetics, like there's genetics that we are predisposed to things, but we now know that we can still make adjustments to make those things better.
Correct. So when you look at this results here for Austin, you see on the right-hand side, that's basically called the previous scan before we did any optimizing frequency. And then the current scan is the one we optimize the frequency. Now we take a look here to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red and only 1 red. Now when you see red and red, that indicates chronic situation, which is triglyceride. Now what is triglyceride? These are basically the grease in our system. It's the fat that comes from either too much carbohydrate, simple carbs, or too much grease, which is the bad fat. I'm not talking about the avocado, which is a healthy fat. I'm not talking about olive oil or coconut oil, which is considered healthy fat. I'm talking about the French fries. I'm talking about the sugar in terms of bread, in terms of processed sugar, in terms of juices, or even fruits, like it has fructose, and anything that converts to triglyceride that can actually impact the arteries, that can actually lead to arteriosclerosis. So we don't want this to be, so when actually I told this to Austin, he went back and he cut on the bread, on the rice, and he cut on all of the stuff. If I scan him again today, we're not going to see this red and red, we're going to see green and green, because he did the modification. So it's a good idea to do this test to see what's going on here, what's happening with your inner body. And then if he's doing now his blood test recently, probably next week, he's going to email me his results. It's going to show probably improvement in triglyceride because he's done the proactive roles now to improve that. But if he had 3 months before the test, it's going to show high triglyceride. I'm very confident about that because it shows here HDL, the good cholesterol, is low. It shows the LDL here. The LDL here is which is a bad cholesterol. Actually, it was fine. So that means Austin does not go to eat any fast food like French fries or KFC and any of the stuff, and he does not drink soda. Is that correct, Austin?
That's correct.
No soda.
Yeah, if I
expect to have high LDL, low HDL, very high triglyceride. In fact, if you do drink soda, including diet soda, of course, stop doing that, please. I beg you. If there's one thing you can learn from this, is stop all crap. C-R-A-P. C, carbonated beverage. R, refined food. A, artificial colors and flavor. And P, processed food. So if you can stop the crap in the year 2021 on January 2nd, make it an all-year resolution, not just from January 2nd until January 10th. No, all-year resolution to stop crap in your food. The food is not just what you eat, is what you think. Is what you see, is what you program the subconscious mind, is what makes your sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight, to switch to parasympathetic, which is rest, digest, and relax. So we need to go on parasympathetic because the world around us right now is all stress. It's all bad news. So stop all of the TV and stop all of the radio announcement. Turn your media off to live within the peace inside of you. I recommend that strongly. And then just take extra vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, all of the other fresh fruits and vegetables that you recommend to help you to boost your immune system. How many doctors going out and speaking about how to have a healthy immune system in this era of this pandemic? I do not see that many people. I'm the only lonely voice in the wilderness who's speaking about healthy immune system. So believe me, these simple things that you can do. Vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, vitamin A, all selenium, zinc. Zinc is the most important minerals for the immune system. Simple things.
Zinc.
Very important minerals.
I hope people are taking notes.
Simple solution to all of this problem what we're living in. And then you're going to boost your thymus, which is the middle of your chest. Thymus starts with T, Thymus. That makes your T cells, T lymphocytes, B cells, and NK cells, non-killer cells. So if you want to massage your thymus like this every day, then you're going to actually boost the immune system to produce healthy thymus, healthy T cells, and healthy immune system. And then you can do the EFT tapping like this. Mm-hmm. And if somebody asks you who recommended this, say Dr. King Kong. Don't say Dr. Grant, please.
So let me grab this. I love this. Remove crap from your diet, which is carbonated beverages, refined foods, artificial flavors, and processed foods.
Yes, 100%. It does not fit in our diet. And when you go to supermarket, do not go in the middle aisle. Go to the vegetables aisle first. Because you get tempted when you go into the canned food and the packed food, especially cereal. You know what, Austin, they put in cereal is not just high fructose corn syrup. Do you know what they put in cereal? Something called TSP, trisodium phosphate, in every processed cereal. TSP, if you Google TSP, trisodium phosphate, it's actually toxic. Yes, it's approved by FDA because the amount that they put there is very low.
Right.
It's below the threshold limit value. I understand that as a toxicologist. But as a chemist and also as a nutritionist, I understand before you pick any cereal, you have to pick up, you make it homemade, like you make old way porridge, and you can use almond milk or coconut milk. You can make it at home, actually. You can make almond milk, coconut milk at home. And then you can add this instead of cow's milk because of the hormones, antibiotics, and everything else. And people have allergy, not just lactose intolerance. You know, Austin, people now have something called casein intolerance, which is a milk protein, that they can get mucus, that they can develop allergies. They can develop so much sticky protein, which is, in fact, let me share something with this advanced. Milk and cheese have a compound casomorphine. Now, casomorphine can actually antagonize serotonin and endorphins. I don't like to brag about this, but I was the first scientist in the world to isolate beta endorphins in 1981 at the Faculty of Pharmacy and Medicine in Saskatchewan, in Canada. Okay, so 1981. You can check this out if you want. Okay, with kids in vitro and in vivo, with kids who are suffering with SIDS, and also in vitro using radioimmunoassay RIA with iodine 125, radio labeled iodine 125. So we found that endorphins are the happy chemicals in our brain that actually we need it. Like when you exercise, you produce endorphin. When you get a massage or reflexology, you produce endorphins. When you hug somebody, you get not only endorphin, but get oxytocin.
Yes.
So we need endorphins, we need oxytocin, and we need serotonin, and we need GABA and dopamine. They call them DOSE, D-O-S-E. If we have those, then we can reduce the bad hormones. Well, it's not bad, but if it's in excess, it becomes bad, like cortisol. Well, cortisol is the hormone that tell you that you're in fight or flight. So we need them to run out of the bear or out of the lions in the forest. But then we do not need them on a day-to-day basis 24/7. That will interfere our sleep. So if you are always in a fight or flight situation, you're in sympathetic mode. We need to switch you back to parasympathetic. So you can see from Austin here, his diet is really impeccable. Like he's got no problem. If we can scroll down like this a little bit further, Austin, you can see lots of red in the beginning, lots of greens on this left side. Congratulations. His CBC right now is all green. You see this? If he's done a blood test right now, it's going to be exactly like I'm seeing here. His physician is going to be so impressed about this. But we had before some challenges in the hemoglobin. Now, hemoglobin is basically the blood. Heme is iron, globin is protein. So when we have a problem with hemoglobin here, I told Austin, do not take any iron supplements. Please, if you take an iron supplements, you have to think twice about that because it can cause constipation, bloating, and it can cause, I don't want to get into science here, something called hemochromatosis. We don't want to get into any iron supplement. Just eat spinach, kale, and then you're going to actually...
Lima beans? Lima beans? I had them last night.
Exactly. All of the stuff here can help you. And he had a little bit of a challenge with MCHC and MCV. These are part of the white blood cell component. And he has RBCs, see red blood cells here. And that's why he has a problem with hemoglobin. You see here? And that's what I told Austin to do a blood test. And then we're going to see actually his RBC right now in the blood test to see if it compare with this finding right here. But you see here, he has more green now than red. Congratulations, my friend, my dear co-author. You're amazing, in amazing health here.
Yeah, well, I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Good job.
You know, I can tell you, like I can slip in eating carbs because I don't eat a lot of meat. I barely eat meat. I eat it once in a while. I eat a fish, but the carbs, and I told you I was drinking that bulletproof coffee for a while, for like a long time, and so maybe that had something to do with the fats being off. But I do eat a lot of avocados, and
excellent.
And I'm working on. And I'll tell you, one of the things I did was I went and looked up the history of sugar.
Yes.
And that was a really valuable thing for me to do because I saw how sugar evolved into our food supply over the years to unhealthy and not only in unhealthy levels, but in unhealthy processing practices that still now permeate modern culture, North America, Europe.
I'm so glad that you mentioned this, Austin, because if you look at the curve for the sugar consumption for 25 years, you're going to see it on the rise. And the slope of this curve, it's exactly the slope of high fructose corn syrup when it came out 25 years ago. Yeah. So this is why we have diabetes, and that's why we have obesity in North America. By the way, if you marry diabetes to obesity, there's a new disease called diabesity, which is, and this diabetes now is the real epidemic. It's real. It's especially in countries where they eat lots of junk food, and you can see that the curve is really rising here. By the way, sugar is more addictive than cocaine because it activates 3 brain neurotransmitters. If somebody come to me with cocaine addiction, we can put them on methadone and we recommend them to go to a physician. It's very simple actually to reverse within 10 days. But on sugar, give me at least a month to help them to get rid of this addiction because we have to lower their desire. Like I used to put 3 teaspoons of sugar in my coffee. That's 40 years ago. And my family history had both diabetes. My grandparents, I was told, I'd never seen, but they had diabetes. And here I'm putting 3 teaspoons of sugar in my tea or coffee. Now I do not use any sugar. I use stevia instead. I do not use any sugar, maybe a couple of drops of honey. Okay. But you have to be careful. The hidden sugars. Read the work of Dr. Robert Lustig from California. He's one of the top researchers in sugar for the past 30 years. He's one of my heroes. And read the work by Dr. Mark Hyman from Cleveland Clinic. Read the work. People, there's lots of, on my website, lots of YouTube. Yeah. Read them, watch them, view them. And it's going to curb your desire to use anything with.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the one thing that I started to do, and I want to get Omar on here, but the one thing that I did, Dr. Grant, was I just started to measure the sugar content in my day, like how much sugar is in this, how much, and I'm working to keep it like in that 30 to 40 range, as opposed to what, like I think it's 150. I don't even know what the grams or whatever it is.
Yes, and use low glycemic food. Like even fruits, do not use high glycemic fruits. Use low glycemic fruits, which does not give you a spike. Anytime you drink a juice, you get a spike. But if you eat the apple, it has fiber, so it does not give you the spike. It's going to be gentle. It's very important not to consume, especially commercial juices where they have high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, I stay away from
like soda.
Absolutely. So is there anything else you want to hit on this report before we
Yes, can you scroll? I want to show people about your insulin, about your sugar. Just to scroll down a little bit. Fatty acids, it's all good. Okay. And then you see here now, digestive function, you're all green here. Okay, that means you do not have acid reflux. No. Now, when somebody have acid reflux and when they have a GERD, when they have, sometimes doctor prescribe antacid, like Nexium, Pentalog, cimetidine, ranitidine. Some of these medication can actually stop your vitamin K, stop and destroy B12 and all of the B vitamins. It may even cause dementia because these drugs have side effects. So before you take any drug, before you actually put it in your mouth, look for the side effect. If the side effect exceeds the benefit, then it's wise not to take it. Because if you take baking soda, apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, turmeric, and ginger, the one that I recommended for Austin here, that will actually neutralize the acid. But most of the acid reflux, by the way, Austin, is because of low acid, low HCl. Why we have low acid? Because we have low probiotics and prebiotics. So when we take the friendly bacteria, the probiotics and the prebiotics, and make sure before you take any prebiotics or probiotics, make sure it has on the label acid resistant and also heat resistant. If it does not have that, you're wasting your money. If you take something that you keep it in the fridge, I'm a microbiologist. I've done some testing on some of those things that you keep in the fridge. Within 3 weeks, you get 50% less of the labeled amount. Within 4 weeks, you get nothing left. You basically take a placebo.
So I'm taking a product for that.
Very important to see that. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you go, so you have, is it true that you don't have any inflammation in your body because it's all green here? Is it true?
I would say it's 90% good. I mean,
because
I hardly ever have any.
We only had 2 reds before, right there. Okay, and then it shows here the CRP. By the way, CRP is one of the most important tests everybody should do with a blood test. Why?
Okay.
CRP stands for C-reactive protein. HS stands for high sensitivity. If this CRP is above 3 or 4, you have inflammation in your body. If this CRP, like in case of Austin here, was red and now it's green, most likely it's going to be under 3 when he does the blood test. But if it's red and red, watch out, because then you have something cause inflammation. Now, inflammation caused by free radicals. If you have lots of free radicals that cause oxidative stress, to cause oxidation, you need to control that by taking antioxidants like vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin C, zinc, any antioxidants. It's things like resveratrol, things like grapeseed extract, grape skin extract. This is very important marker to test your HSCRP here. And also the doctor's reluctant to do homocysteine. This homocysteine is more important for heart disease than cholesterol. Now, if any physician watching this and you're going to argue with me on this, I have publications done. I'm a senior editor of 14 journals, and I can tell you right now, the cholesterol is actually over-exaggerated in terms of the LDL. Yes, LDL, high LDL can cause clogging of the arteries, no argument there. But if you have high HDL and you have low triglyceride, then cholesterol is not an issue. If you test homocysteine, this is very important marker for cardiovascular disease because it indicates lack of B6, B12, and folate or folic acid. If we have lack of those B complex vitamins, we tend to have clogging of the arteries more than LDL cholesterol. It's correlated with clogged arteries. Read the research done in Japan on this. Read the research done at Harvard, Cleveland Clinic, Johns Hopkins, Mayo Clinic. And I'm happy to tell you, Austin, that I worked with all of these clinics in the past. At the year 2015, at the International Pain Conference, I was participant. I was actually presenting in 2 different studies at this conference. So I work with this kind of.
This is great. This is excellent. I mean, and if you're just joining, I'm with Dr. Grant here. He's a PhD, not a medical doctor. Obviously, he's doctorate, PhD.
I'm a scientist. Yes.
Scientist, toxicologist, biologist. I mean, you have all the credentials, and you're self-taught. And I just want to tell people, you lost your parents at a young age, and it just sent you on this journey to really understand what creates good health. And I
was orphaned at age 18, Austin. I don't want any mother or father to die when the kids are 18 or younger, because you know what? In every Mother's Day, I felt something is missing because I could not celebrate with my friends for mother. I have no mother. And then comes father. When my father passed away, Father's Day also becomes very stressful. Also, I cannot celebrate Mother's Day and Father's Day when I was in early teens. So it's very stressful. This is what compelled me to study what is it that we can do here to prevent. There's no way to just intervene. We have to, because instead of having bypass, let's bypass the bypass with prevention.
Oh, that's a great. I love your play on words. It's so good. So, is there anything else you want to share on this report? Because I don't want to.
If you just want to show the insulin resistance right there in the next one, because I was very impressed with you. We have you all green here, so you have no problem with sugar. No problem with, you had a problem with iron, ferritin, but now it's corrected. And I told you, just do not take any iron supplements. Just go and eat some kale and spinach
Yeah.
and all of the greens and stuff. And then
I did that right away, by the way, because I was off my normal food intake. I did that right away. I went and started doing
That's
that.
wonderful. That's wonderful. And then it shows here that you have family history probably with pro-insulin. It shows red and red. Is that true that you have any father, mother, grandparents have a problem with diabetes?
My aunt on my mom's side was diabetic.
Here you go, right there. It shows here. Okay, one more to show about the pancreas, and then we'll stop here because we're going to get into a lot of other personal stuff I don't want to get into. Okay, you see here, it shows insulin secretion here. Now, when you do a blood test, I recommend the HSCRP, homocysteine. Also, ask your physician for HbA1c, hemoglobin A1c. Hemoglobin A1c is the average of 3 months usage of your sugar. If it's above 6.5, that can translate to a pre-diabetic state. And if it's 7 or 7.5, that's possibly pre-diabetes. If it's in 11 or 12, you have diabetes. There's no question about that because your sugar consumption has to be reduced. By the way, if somebody listening on this call here, Austin, and they take a metformin, it has been warned by the FDA that metformin is a possible carcinogen. Now, if somebody take a metformin, check out this data to see if you have any family history of cancer, and ask your physician for something alternative than metformin, because if this drug warned by FDA that's metformin, and every doctor, even natural doctor like myself, natural scientist, always recommend to check on the side effect of the medication before you take any medications. But if it has that and you have history of cancer, obviously it's not wise to take this to cure your diabetes and to get cancer. It's like, which one do you want, diabetes or cancer?
Yeah. So this is great. I mean, all I can tell you is get this assessment. It will amaze you what this thing produces. If you want this, it's type in the word wellness. It's 150 Canadian, 120 US.
Yeah.
And I just want to grab some questions. And if Umar is still with us, I just want her to come on.
I want to mention, Austin, this is just one of the tests here. And we do the voice analysis test, and we do this test here, which is the vitals, and then another test, which is a comprehensive, that we do 35 pictures, 3-dimensional pictures. I just wanted to run quickly to show them how detailed this test is. You don't have to show like
I can pull it up.
Show them how detailed this is. Yeah, pull it down and show them what's. Oh, no. It's still on the vitals, please. I want you to stay on the vitals for a second.
Okay.
Before we go on to this.
Yep.
And just scroll down for the vitals here.
Okay.
I want to show. I just show them how detailed this is. This is all about the amino acid, the proteins. It's scroll down. Digestive. You can see Austin here's green. It's all green. You can see macronutrient, large nutrients. A micro is small nutrients. You see here. Okay, scroll down. You can see here all of his vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. You can see genetic. Okay, he has. Okay, so hold on for a second here. There's lots of people who have the MTHFR. They cannot digest B complex. They have to take the methylated form. They have to take a methyl B. Do not take sialocobalamin for B12. Take methylcobalamin. Do not take any regular B complex. Take methyl B complex, because most people have the genetic tendency not to be able to assimilate the B complex because they have this genetic tendency here. Okay, go ahead quickly. His physical is amazing. Look, he's green and green, which is you drink your water, you do the oxygen, you do the exercise. You're a former marathon runner, obviously. The bones is healthy. The bone growth is healthy. You can see here all green. Okay, mineral density. If somebody has osteopenia, osteoporosis, you can detect that. His brain is very good. Okay. Except, of course, some family history. We're not going to go through all of the details here. I just want to show the details of this report. You can see here, all of this report here. This is one test called the vital test, plus his voice print, which will give you 8 pages of report on your organs and which organ is affected by your voice. Emotion suppressed or emotion expressed that affect major organs. So scroll down, cardiovascular. He's in excellent shape. His heart is in excellent shape here. Beautiful. And then scroll down some more. Scroll down some more. It's a very detailed collagen, how young he is from the inside. Okay. Okay. And then we have the endocrine, the thyroid, the thymus, parathyroid here. You see that? Okay. And then we're going to scroll down more. We're going to see hormones, sleep. Okay. And then we're going to scroll down some more here. Okay. Thanks, Austin, for sharing your personal information. Immune system. He has a impeccable immune system. He does not have to be scared from any COVID or anything like this because his immune system is very healthy. You don't have to worry about anything.
And if you're listening to this, think about all the propaganda that comes down on wear your mask, get the vaccine. But why don't we talk about this more? Like,
exactly.
Health is an inside-outside job.
This is results-oriented recommendations. Vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, vitamin A. Simple things we can do here to boost the immune system naturally. I do not recommend the vaccine. I did work for Health Canada and the FDA and the CDC. I get my head chopped off if I say something unscientific here. But there is a side effect of the vaccine. You should be able to find out what it is before you actually roll your sleeve and get injected. Find out what it is. Okay. So, here's the kidney function, which has healthy kidney. Here's the liver function. By the way, people take medications, Austin, they have all of this red. Liver and gallbladder. All of this is red. Okay.
I take zero medications, but I want to honor everyone's time here. This you can see how detailed this report is, and I mean, there's some other things that we're not going to get into that came up that were real in my family history and things like that.
Yeah. Just scroll very quickly down to finish this page here. Just show how detailed this is. Like, look how much information we get from one test. This is only allergies, complete allergy test. This is only one of 3 major tests. And Austin is going to be kind enough to show you his comprehensive scan, just 1 or 2 organs for now, to show you this quickly. Scroll down some more. This is all of the allergies. And it's going to show allergies here in details. It's going to show also any bacteria. It's going to show parasites, people who eat raw fish like sushi. Stay away from raw fish, please. Do not do this because it has parasites. It shows fungi. He does not have any fungus here, which is great. And toxins. Okay, he does not have any of the stuff here. Here's the minerals, heavy metals. He does not have very few here. And he's aware of that now. And then molds, okay, and then parasites. So you can see here, there's not much that we talk about parasites. And then finally, the last one, I think it's viruses. So it is extreme. Everything virus he has here, okay? So it will show in details what the viruses are, okay?
Yeah, I had a cold sore that just went away.
So go to the comprehensive, spend only 1 minute on because there are 30 reports. We're not going to have time for the comprehensive. Just show them how the picture looks like.
Yeah, let me just grab that. Let me grab that.
Okay. And then they get also the voice analysis for MP3.
Yeah, so this is basically
in the sound therapy. It's actually treat you for all of the stuff here. So you can see here his heart. You can see his lumbar, his spine. Sorry, it shows everything is normal here. Everything is green. Now, when you see number 1 and 9, that means a problem. Either low functioning or high functioning. But when you see all, it's almost like going to a chiropractor, going to internist, going to nephrologist, going to hepatologist.
It's really amazing.
6 different, or a dentist. They can show you the teeth if he has any problem with periodontal disease. If he has any, you can show in details here. You can show kidney. You can show everything here. Like, okay, if there is any test that you can do that show you all of the stuff here, and then you get me to coach you and to help you to reverse any things like this naturally, I would go for it. Definitely. I'll go for it, especially if you have bad genes like my parents and grandparents. You should really do this. Highly recommended. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is awesome. I'm going to, we had a lot of shares coming in. I'm going to see if I can grab some of these. Is this resonating with you? And I'm amazed by the test. And
thank you.
I can see that you can see we spend a lot of investment on different things to make money. And what do they say? We spend the first half of our life jeopardizing or compromising our health to make money. And then we spend the second half of our life spending our money to bring our health back.
Oh, health is priceless. Health is price. You cannot put a price on total health. I'm planning to live to 101. I've written a book, How to Live Healthy to 101. And any of the people who actually accept this scan, I'll send them an ebook, How to Live Healthy to 101, free of charge.
Yes, you sent me that book. So Tony does not like sushi. So she's good there. Mandy doesn't like sushi. And we have Marianne is on here. Marianne.
Oh yes,
Marianne?
she's one of my favorite students, and she is really one. She also a practitioner, and
yes,
any Marianne. Okay,
that's awesome.
And then yes, and actually Marianne did the scan for Omara, and she said that Marianne is amazing. I said she's amazing because I'm her professor. I'm just kidding. Marianne is amazing because she's an amazing person. She is willing to learn. She's one of those ferocious learner. She's amazing. Yes.
Yeah. So Mandy, I don't know if this is, but the body is an amazing thing, and
yes.
it's amazing how adaptable the body is despite
yes.
the things that we do to it. But imagine if you start doing the right things, you get this assessment, and you start making those micro changes over time.
Yes.
Some of you might need to make macro changes, but
yes.
if you make micro changes over time, that's what I've done. I've made micro change, and that's what I continue to do. And I think the more we develop new habits, and I got to share this with you, and let me know if this resonates. When I was thinking about the sugar intake, and I shared this, you can think about removing sugar from or if you're, especially if you're having too much sugar or processed sugar, you can start to remove that. But one of the things that I want to share is start adding more micronutrient dense
yes.
foods to your body, nutrient dense foods, because when your body gets satiated with nutrients, you will be less likely to crave sugar and to get that full feeling because your body's so used to that fullness because it's trying to get nutrients out of the food that has less nutrient dense. Is that right?
100%. In fact, sugar can affect not only insulin resistance, which makes the blood sugar goes up and down, it also affects leptin resistance. Leptin is the feeling full hormone. People, no matter how much they eat, they don't feel full. They want to eat all the time because they have leptin resistance. And now leptin resistance can cause insulin resistance, and insulin resistance can cause leptin resistance. They both caused by high sugar. The more sugar you have, the more you have problem with leptin, insulin, and obesity, and diabetes, which is called diabesity. In fact, Marianne, my favorite student here, attended the initial assessment with Robert J. Moore almost 7 months ago when we met him at the clinic. Okay. And then she could not believe that, and Trevor's another one of my colleague here from all the way from Halifax. No, that's wonderful, Trevor. And he also believed in all of this prevention and all of the stuff that we're talking about here. And so Marianne witnessed Robert G. Moore before and after. She has seen him now. She could not actually believe that he has released over 110 pounds in less than 6.5 months. It's just like, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
We always talk about 10, 12 pounds per month. I told him that. But he said, I'm going to go 20 pounds a month.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, let's,
20 pounds.
Like it's so, when you just start,
yes.
Because the hard part about starting is it's like you're thinking about how far you are away from where you need to be.
Yes.
But if you just start and you start getting into motion,
yes.
you wake up one day, and I liken it to the ultra marathon. When I would run,
yes,
I could think about, hey, I'm about to run 50 kilometers.
Yes.
And if I think about running 50 kilometers, that freaks me out. Right.
Exactly.
So what I would have to chunk it out. I would say, I'm going to do this. And even with the training, it's the same thing. And I think we devalue the small changes that we can make. Yes. Because we're overwhelmed by how far we are away.
100%.
And you can start today.
Everybody, Austin, to join you on your mission about the freedom challenge that you have on your website, because only 10 minutes per day for 9 days will make a huge, like incremental difference. So I highly recommend your program. I recommend Marianne, my dear students here. I recommend, everybody joining us on this.
Thank you. Yeah, join us. Listen, I appreciate that.
I commend you for this. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's 10 minutes a day. And right now, yes. What would you recommend? So first of all, you can get the assessment, by the way. Yes. Think about what you spend in your gym. Think about what you spend on massage or any type of, what do you call it? Healthcare. But what would you call it? It's sick care, right? Or whatever.
Exactly.
So whatever you spend on that, this is 120 US, 150 Canadian to get this full assessment. We went through about maybe 30% of it, not even 30% of it.
Oh, yes.
It's so in depth. It will change the way you look at things. You start to get more nutrient dense foods. You can still enjoy food. Maybe that's another conversation we can have. But I wanted to bring Umara on, if that's okay. In a minute here, Umara. Let me see here. Let's see. Hold on one second. I'm just going to make a minor change. So what would you say, somebody who feels like they're 1,000 miles away, they're always hungry, they're dealing with without even if they didn't get the assessment. I know everybody's different, but what one thing or two things would you recommend?
Okay. I recommend for them to go to the website academyofwellness.com and do the wellness IQ, and you don't have to pay for this. It's free. It's 10 questions. Okay. Every question is 10 points. Okay. So if they get under 50, then at least they have something to adjust incrementally, small amount of, like if they're not drinking enough water per day, they can just drink more water, right? It's as simple as that. If they're not exercising, you should exercise.
Here's the water. You can do it. You can do it right now, everyone. You can get your water right now. Get some alkaline water.
Simple stuff. We're not talking about rocket science here. We're not talking about any hard stuff. Walking 30 minutes, 35 minutes a day. Like Marianne walk her dog every single day, 30 minutes. I told her that. She's following this religiously. By the way, she's the best student when she follow up rules and follow. And by the way, her score too is very high on the wellness IQ. And she has her own device. She's scanning herself every day. And she's improving all the time.
Awesome job, Marianne. Let's give Marianne. All right, great job.
Thank you, Marianne.
People want to make the world a better place. Okay, well, let's bring on Umara just to say hello. Umara had the scan. This is kind of impromptu, but here we go. You ready, Umara? Thumbs up.
Hello.
Hello, Umara.
Nice to see you, Dr. Grant. How are you?
Can
you hear me fine? Thank you so much,
you.
Austin. Thank you so much for inviting me on here. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Grant. The moment he did my scan, I was like, that was so amazing. Thank you so much for the service you're doing, Dr. Grant, and you're highly recommended by me.
Thank you. You're also highly recommended by me, Umara, for your knowledge in nutrition, for your knowledge in fitness, and you walk in your talk. You just look at her face. Actually, I'm not sure whether you know this, Austin. Umara is actually over 65, and she looks very good for 32, 33, right? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Laughter is the best medicine, right, Umara?
Yeah, I was just going to say laughter is the best medicine. So laugh more. That's something that we can do. But Dr. Grant, you have a great sense of humor, and I love it. So Umara, are you 60? No, I'm kidding.
Well, you never ask a woman's age.
Exactly.
So maybe I am.
I could not get her date of birth when I did this.
But I got to learn. I'm glad you reminded me about that. So what was your big takeaway from your assessment? Was there one or two things? Like, I know for me, I just was thinking about it in a good way. I just started to, because you got to embrace some of it, right? Because you're going to get some things on there that you're not going to like. I mean, you're going to hear some things, you're going to see some things, but it's better to see it now than wait and embrace that. And you'll see, like for me, I just started to make some adjustments right away. So Umara, what was your one or two or three things that jumped out at you with the assessment?
Yeah, well, to be honest, Austin, I was just like any other human being. I was skeptic, and I was like, how come a voice can detect so many things? And after getting my scan, I was blown away, of course. But I went on and did my own research. And it's just like, when someone came up with the discovery of electrons, there were a lot of skepticism around that. How come? No, there cannot be electrons in a body. Like, this is absolutely absurd. And then it was proven, and it was researched on, and then electrons were proven. And so for years, people believed that there's only electrons and protons in a body until there was a discovery of other microparticles within an electron, right? And that's why that's where people started believing, okay, it's not only electron, it's even more microparticles in it. And then now we're in an age where people are discovering that even beyond those microparticles, what is beyond that is just energy, vibration. There's nothing in an electron. It's just vibration. And so coming from where Dr. Grant's research and all his education is coming from, of course, if the body is made of electrons, I'm going very logical here because I'm that kind of mind. So,
I can see that. You're going deep, yeah.
So if a body is made of electrons and organs are made of electrons, then every organ, every cell is vibrating with a certain vibration. And if it's not functioning properly, then there is something going on with that frequency. And that's what the scan detects. And if it detects it, then of course quantum physics absolutely, Mandy. There you go, the purest form. And if we can detect it before we have to go and reach for allopathic medicine, why not? Why not?
Absolutely.
Right?
No, that's so good. That is so good. And by the way, when Einstein developed the theory of relativity, it took over 2 years.
Yeah.
It took a lot of time before it was accepted. So anything new, and I would say this is not. I mean, this technology is new, but newer in the bigger scope of things. But
Yes.
it's been tested, and not only that, to put it in the hands of somebody like Dr. Grant, who's tested 10,000 people, who has a history, and can corroborate. Am I saying that word? Corroborate that the tests are all lining up within 95% accuracy. So I'm so amazed by it. It's already had an impact on me. I just want to recommend you get it. Just get it.
And you know what, Austin and Omara, some people actually question the efficacy and also the accuracy of this device, but it's all about quantum physics. Quantum physics. Thank you, Trevor. He's by the way, I only met Trevor online, and I never seen him. He's from Nova Scotia, another province. I'm in Ontario. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. He's gonna be actually my upcoming co-author in our book that's printed right now. I appreciate that, and we helped lots of his friends and family and so on. You know what? It's all about wellness here. That's what Omara is doing. That's what I'm doing, and that's what you're doing now. So please, if you're really interested in this, let's help you. But if you're not interested, if you doubting any of this stuff here, there's no cost, because quantum physics law is the law. If you want to argue Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, and Dr. Rife and myself, go ahead. You know what? Arm wrestle me. Okay, fine. But you know what? The truth is the truth. The truth is good enough. There is no need to exaggerate the truth. Okay? And if the results is not acceptable to you, don't have to pay me anything. So you pay after you do the test, not before. How does that sound?
Wow. So you're saying they don't have
to... After the test, you pay. If not, then it's my dime. That's what I told Omar, and she paid me $1,000. Can you imagine that?
And I look 65, and look at me, right? So like Austin said, everyone spends money on gym, and I have done that, Austin, as well. 180, 150. This is so worth it. If I wish I knew before, I wish I met Marianne before, I wish I met Austin and Dr. Grant before. But it's never too late.
You know what, Omara? You're gonna meet Trevor. You're gonna meet. I think you already know Marianne. You're gonna meet all my 10,000 clients, because they need to reach out to you. Because first of all, you're a nutritionist, you're a fitness guru, and then I want you to, just like what Austin invite you to come here on this conference call. I'll invite you on my upcoming call with my clients and so on, because they need to listen to you. And most young women like yourself, Omar, would actually vibrates and agree with you more than me, because when we talk about PMS, I think they understand more physical, mental, and spiritual from you than from me. You understand that, right?
Yeah,
and then you can help them with women's issues and so on, especially ladies when they have 7 days period and clots and all of the stuff, discomfort. And then when you talk to them about the mammograms and the dangers of radiation and so on, and what is the other alternative, like doing things like ultrasound or thermotherapy, they would actually believe you than me, even though I have multiple degrees. But women relates more to women than male doctor, if you understand what I'm talking about.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and then we're going to bring Austin to talk about his freedom, 9 days freedom, because if you have not done it yet, it's amazing, out of this world. I recommend everybody. It's free, by the way.
Absolutely.
You know what? You charge on this, Austin. You should really charge.
Not right. Well, for now, it's a limited time. So until
limited time. So take advantage of it.
Yes. Because right now, again, I can only speak from my story. Right now, people are moving into this time of year. That's why I wanted to have you on, because looking at their health, they're evaluating.
Yes.
But for me, things kept repeating because there was something blocking, like there was a limiting belief. And it wasn't until I got clear on that. So that's why, for me, I started, let's walk down a process to help people really uncover what's blocking, what's holding me back. I know I can do more. I know there's so much more for me to do. Why am I not doing it? Why am I not following through? And it's, it's uncovering that. And the same thing with the health that we're talking about. Yes. What is preventing me from my optimum level of health, energy, vitality? What is happening? And that's the work that we're doing. It all is synergistic. It all comes together. And that's what we're doing. So we recommend, and by the way, Dr. Grant, you're going to be there at Flashpoint, the next event, either, well, maybe not dependent on the travel ban, but we're definitely going to have you there virtually.
Okay.
in some way, shape, or form. We talked about that, so you'll be able to.
Yeah. Me and Dr. Grant are gonna come there together. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
Let's
there.
do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We can have you both there, and
Yes.
We can talk more about, have these conversations about what people can do to improve their health and well-being. Because at the events, when people come, there's inevitably something going on in the body. There's something happening physically that it blocks. There's, I mean, I'm not just speaking physical, but it's all connected, and it's about freeing ourselves and living at a higher frequency. Really.
One of my dear client here, Rosemary, she actually said that she's taken the test, and I explained this in detail. And Rosemary knows also Omara, and we actually did. I guess she was with us onto this spiritual fitness conference. Rosemary was there. Omara was there. You were there. Right?
I got something for you. See, this is what happens. Hold on. This is Ian.
Okay.
From Scotland, UK.
Of course.
The universe brought me here tonight.
Oh my goodness.
Can we do the test? You see how things happen, everyone?
Oh yeah.
You see how things. This is the way it works.
Yeah.
I know for me, when I felt awkward, confused, upset, not sure what to do, and I was able to just stay, not that that's not accepted as a permanent thing, but say, I know there's more. There's something for me to do. And something like this can happen where something pops up. God, the universe divine says here, and something happens. So here, something's happening right here.
Yes.
With Ian. So Dr. Grant, Ian's into Scotland and the UK.
Wonderful. I'm going to actually invite you, Austin. I'm going to invite you, Omara, to come my next Zoom meeting with Olga Gideon from England, from the UK. And we three of us going to be talking, and then we're right here in the UK, because I'm sure you heard about Olga. She's interviewed me many times, and you can see her things on YouTube with me. And then by you coming every month, she interviewed me for 45 minutes. So I want you to come with me, both of you. I give you the invitation here. I'm going to contact Olga to invite both of you to the Zoom, because we want to get to share this with our own customers, clients. Like out of my 20,000 clients, I only have about 12 or 14, because it was short notice that I shared this on Facebook today. But then when we share this now, anticipating we're going to be speaking mid-January, all of us can share this with all of our clients. We're going to have about tens of thousands. In fact, I'm not sure whether you know this, Austin or Omara. I spoke at the WONM conference in October for 2.2 million viewers from 100 countries. Wow. 2.2 million virtual viewers on the link. In the physical conference we have in Toronto, we only have about 250, 300 doctors from all over the world. Through Zoom, we have 2.2 million. Like, wow. 2.2.
Yeah.
And I could not
stop. So I want to jump in. I want to jump in only because I want to honor Ian here for jumping on here. And Ian, thank you for jumping on here, brother, and making a comment. We want to make sure you get what you need. I want to give people some direction here. Okay. So
can I just answer Tony for his questions? This test is not replacement to mammogram or colonoscopy. I do not recommend mammogram. I do not recommend colonoscopy. If you do that, they do it at your own risk. I recommend something called FOBT. It's a fecal occult blood. You take a stool sample, you put it in an envelope, send it to the lab. It's as accurate as colonoscopy. And instead of mammogram, I recommend either thermotherapy. I'm not an internist. I'm not a radiologist. But all I can tell you is I have women who had several mammograms, who had serious X-ray, and sometimes they forget to protect your thyroid and your thymus from the X-ray. So instead of mammogram, you can look at either thermotherapy, which is using infrared, or ultrasound using sound therapy. And instead of colonoscopy, you can use FOBT. These are the questions that we talk about, but this test does not replace going to a physician or doing any of this regular
right.
testing.
And we want to make that clear. And I think it's important. Like, there's more options. It's if we can create more options for ourselves, we can win. And this is an option. To do this assessment is pennies. It's pennies when you think about what sick care is. So it's an option. So I want to give people some direction here. Number one, you can go to the It's for you to see where you are, free. If you want his expertise, how many years have you been practicing this again, Dr. Grant?
45.
45 years.
That's before you were born, Austin.
Before I was, well, thank you for that. Thank you. But you can engage with Dr. Grant. It's 150 Canadian, 120 US. Type in the word wellness. Please give us an indicator that you want the test. Type in the word wellness and we'll follow up. And if not, just go to the Academy of Wellness. It's scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Take action. Take action. Do something. That's why I always recommend do something for your own health and well-being, because it's 2021. We know that on a global level, there's something happening. But I always tell people, what can we do? What can we do? And we can strengthen we can understand what's going on in our body. We can take steps to strengthen our immune system. We can figure out what should we be eating based on our body type, based on what we need.
Exactly.
And we can start to make decisions. And thank you so much, Dr. Grant, for sharing this time, for going through the assessment, for really doing this. And Mara, thanks for coming on. I'm honored to have both of you in my life and in my circle. And together, we can do so much more. So if this has had an impact on you today, we ask you to share it. I ask you to engage with Dr. Grant and take action and get the assessment done. Wellness. Okay, we got a couple people. If you want to get the assessment, please type in the word wellness, and we want you to definitely get a hold of this. Because you know what, all the success stuff, like your flashpoint, all that stuff doesn't matter if you are not taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Flashpoint matters as well. Oh my God.
Flashpoint does matter.
So
and thank you so much, Amara. Yeah, we have people that have gone through the assessment, and we so it's the physical, it's the whole spectrum, but that's another journey. I don't want to get into that, Dr. Grant, right now. I appreciate your endorsement. People can go to that if they want to get that thing. I'll type the link in there, what that's about. But this is about health today. This is about your health and your well-being. Are you feeling me?
Yes.
Like I've had things in my life, and we've all had it. So take action. Any final words before we leave?
I love you all.
Love you all. That's a beautiful way.
Yes.
Screenshot. Amara, can you get a screenshot for us? Let me take the.
I just want to leave you my favorite L's. Live, learn, laugh, and leave a legacy.
Let me type that in. I'm going to type that in for everyone. What
Learn,
is it again?
Live to the fullest. Laugh. Learn as much as you can. Let go and leave a legacy for future generations. That's my all-year resolution today, Austin, based on your recommendations. Not New Year resolution for 7 days and then I forget about it. I commit to loving, to learning, to laughing, to all of the stuff that we talked about, and letting go from all of the negative stuff in the world, and then just leave a legacy, like what Omar is doing, what you're doing, leaving a legacy with the flashpoints that you're doing and Omar's expertise. And we're going to be all working together here to help to heal the world here from all of the stuff that we're having right now.
Yep.
Okay,
one of the
the best year ever.
2020. One of the good books says they will know you by your fruit.
Yes, exactly. So, yes.
God bless everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We love you. Stay plugged in.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye now. Take care.